Well, howdy folks, Hellcrex here, and welcome to Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 99. Alright, today we're going to be talking about the Flashman, that 75-ton mech that started off in the Star League and moved its way on forward. A mech that I like using a lot, especially if we're playing anything in the Star League. It's one of those ones along with Black Knight that I always like to take. And it's in the same class as the Black Knight, but in some ways I believe it's slightly better in some ways. And we'll talk about why. And some of the drawbacks, maybe. Alright. The Flashman, 75 tons. It comes in about $14.60 for battle value. And it's a 460. Doesn't have jump jets, so sometimes that can be a problem if you want to get through some terrain quickly, or if you're in a city fight and you want to go over some buildings to get into a new alleyway or street to get in behind somebody, which this mech loves to get behind individuals and give them some, well, love. Now, it has 23 heat sinks, so heat is usually not a problem with this thing. It has 216 points of armor, which is really good, which I like a lot. So that means it can be a brawler. And who's not going to not like a mech that can brawl? Up close and personal. Now, weaponry. It has in the right arm, it has a large laser and a medium laser. It has a medium laser in the right torso, a flamer in the head. Left torso has a medium laser, and we also have in the left torso shooting to the rear another medium laser. And then in the left arm we have a medium laser and a large laser. So this thing has some decent weaponry for up close, and it can shoot out to at least 15. So one of the drawbacks is that I do find with the Flashman is that it doesn't have anything that can go out and reach something past 15. So you're going to have to use a little bit more cover and concealment until you get close enough to start punching out there with those heavy lasers. And with that heavy laser, I'm a big fan of the heavy laser, being in its multiple forms, like if we're going to be talking about the Star League one here in a little bit, and which in some ways you can change things around. But when you combine it with the heat sinks, 23, so you can fire both large lasers and run with this thing and only do 18, so it's never going to heat up. So this thing is just super cool. Cool kind of mech that doesn't have to worry about the heat. Now, as I said, it does have a lot of shorter range weaponry, so this thing can pump out 20 points of damage up close with the medium lasers, and you throw in a large laser and then you're doing up to 28. So yeah, this thing can strip off some armor off a heavy or medium mech or even assault mechs pretty quickly, especially when you want to run them in conjunction with a couple others and some other mechs that will tear armor off. So if you run this mech, like I said, I like to run it in conjunction with my Black Knight. So the Black Knight will be able to fire a PPC and a large laser or two large lasers also and tear some armor off. This thing will follow up also, because it's kind of like like I said, the order of operations. I always like to look at my mechs that have the biggest guns first and fire them first to tear off as much armor as possible, and then you hit them with these mechs like these that will do the smaller blocks of, like, say 5s if you get in with medium range or in medium laser range, and start tearing off armor. And then you follow up with something that has, say, like a Kintaro or something that has a bunch of SRM6s that goes crit hunting and just like tink, 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 tink. So you get all the armor gets ripped off, then you start crit hunting with the SRM mech. So it's like hit them with the biggest guns, then you hit them with the medium-sized guns and all the medium laser guys, and then you follow up with all your crit hunters. And that is the best way to always do it, is that you just look at all your stuff and then you just lay it out that way. So then one mech has a possibility to get tore up pretty quickly. So with the Flashman being a 4.6, you can run up the field, get into, say, wood hexes and stuff like that, and get in and try to work your way into the flanks, where, say, you're running in conjunction with, say, like some Thunderbolts, or even some assault mechs for that matter. That these things, I like to use them to get into a specific flank. So I'm looking at where all the damage is laid out. It's like, all right, that turn I seen this guy get hit with, say, you got a Shrek PPC carrier or something that you're working in conjunction with, and they all hit in the right side. I'm going to try to work my way to the right side and try to get into where there's less armor, and then maximize funneling into a specific area if possible. So that's what kind of the thought process I like to do with when it comes to mechs like this. And then when you do get in close, you got those 4 medium lasers. You fire those off. That's only 12 heat, and you follow up with also a heavy laser thrown in there. That's 20. And if you ran, you're still at 22, and you're not heating up. So in some ways, you could also think about, let's say you fire the 2 large lasers, that's 16. And if you walk 17, that leaves you throw a couple medium lasers without even heating up. Or you could put a 3rd one in there and go up 3, and then knowing that when you're getting closer, you only have to worry about firing, let's say, the 4 medium lasers and a heavy laser, and then if you're walking, you can cool off a little bit. So when I run these mechs, I'm never worrying about heat at all, because obviously I've preached to the choir many times. The choir of heat is that don't heat up your mechs. Don't cause problem yourself, because I've seen it after 30-some years of playing this game. Getting any type of advantage by alpha striking and barbecuing your pilot in its cockpit has really never worked out. It's like I had a game where I knew I had a Daiashi that was like down to its last couple internal structure points left on the center torso, and I was facing off a bunch of other assaults, and I was like, this thing is going to die, so I'm just going to fire alpha strike. I fired an alpha strike at I think it was a Ryokan. Did I kill it? No. All I did was strip a bunch of armor off of it, and that was it. It didn't even drop it. So that kind of tells you, just like, you can fire everything, but it could be spread out evenly across all the armor blocks, and then next thing you know, it's like, well, I didn't even do a darn thing, didn't even get a critical or even internal structure, and my mech is dead. And I said it before, it's like I seen a guy that was alpha striking with an assault mech, and I ran up with a mech that all they had was like a medium laser and infernos, and I hit him with the infernos. That was the only thing that hit him, did no damage to him, and I blew him to the bits because I overheated him punched him up high enough with all those infernal hits, and his ammo goes off like popcorn, and just watch him explode from the inside out. So yeah, I like seeing guys that run their mechs hot, because you're causing yourself all kinds of extra problems that I don't have to worry about. Now, off the soapbox, back to the Flashman. So that's what you kind of look at, is that it's a mech that can do a lot of damage pretty quickly if you can get it. Now, if you can get this thing in behind somebody in the rear arc, oh my gosh, with all the damage this thing can put out into rear areas, especially if you run this in conjunction with a second one. I love running 2 of these together, and you're going to cause somebody all kinds of havoc. They're going to be pulling their hair out. Now, let's flash farther back to the Star League. Now, if you ever get your hands on a Flashman from the Star League that's in a Brian Cache or something like that, hey, you're going to love this thing. Now, Flashman, the older version, which is the 8K, I was just talking about the 7K, which is the 3039 version. The 8K is the Star League version. It's a 580. I was like, how did they do a 580 with a... That's because it has XL engines. So this thing comes in with XL engines, 15 heat sinks, double heat sinks, 216 points of armor, and the weapon loadout is a little bit different. It has a large laser in both arms and a large laser in the center torso. And you're like, wow, holy crud. This thing can put out some severe amount of damage. Yes, it can, because it has those XL engines. Then it has the same armament of medium lasers, and it also comes with, in the right torso, which is kind of a problem because I've seen these things blow up before because of it. It has an anti-missile system in the right torso with a ton of ammo, and still has a flamer in the head. Now, I didn't say much about the flamer because, you know, if you get in close with somebody and toss heat damage in from the flamer, oh yeah, I like doing that. If you see infantry, go barbecue them. You know, you run by and do a drive-by and toast them. And that's always a good deal. I like doing that. And what's not to like about that? Also, being that it's now a 5.8, you get a pair of these guys. It's like when we were playing Star League era stuff, you get a couple of these running together. 5.8 movers with all that firepower. Ooh, yeah, I tell you. Especially when you can fire three large lasers, that's 24. And if you run, that's 26. You still have room to toss in another medium laser, for that matter, if you decide to do that. And that's 27 points of damage. So that's almost the same as the running around with the you talked about the other version of 7K. Now, if you get in close with this thing, you can turn around and hit it with 4 medium lasers. That's 12. Then you can add 2 more large lasers in with that into the mix. And still you could run and not heat up. That's the lovely thing about the 8K, the Star League version. And if you get in, when we get into the 3050 era, when we start talking about the advanced weapons again, like when the clans show up, yeah, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. Now, the only downside I don't like about it, because it does have an XL engines do wonders for increasing the amount of weapons you can toss on something, so you can hammer somebody really quick, do a massive burst of damage quickly, but it's kind of like the Phoenix or something of that nature, where you just go kind of flash in the pan. You heat up, die. Because XL engines, you got, all it does, you have to do is just take out one right or left torso, and this mech is toast. And I've had many games where I got hit and it's like all the damage funneled into like a right side or left side, and next thing you know, it's like, well, they didn't take any damage on all the other sections, and all it did was hit in the right side, and that thing died. Short, glorious life. That's pretty much it for that. So, but when you're the 5.8 mover, you can get into positions quicker, hit the flanks faster, reposition faster, because then I like to do with this thing is that run it with a group of medium mechs, like some Phoenixes or something of that nature, that are also 5 or 6, 9 movers, and turn them into a lance of fast deployment type mechs that can get around the flanks quickly and then start hitting individuals. Or even let's say you got somebody that likes to run a long bow or something of that nature that's hiding in the rear, just doing fire support. You can run a couple of these along with some other 5 or 6, 9 movers, get them around real quickly, and then either kick them out of their area of fire support, have them displaced, causing them problems and making them unhappy for where they're sitting, and then or tear them up, tear them a new one. Because I tell you, it isn't very long, because a lot of those fire support mechs don't have a lot of armor, or they can't handle somebody being in their face. So you get inside their LRM envelope of within a couple hexes of them, you know, they're not going to even probably target you. They're going to try to target something farther down range. So their life expectancy is suddenly dwindling pretty quickly. And you can tear armor off really fast with the amount of damage these things do, especially if you get it all funneled into a flank or something. So that's pretty much it for the Flashman. It's a mech that I like using. I enjoy it. And if you ever get your hands on one, you won't be unhappy with them because they do a heck of a job. Now, they don't have a lot of heavy weapons on them. Okay, that's when it comes to the 7K. But, you know, it's one of those things where they have their role. It's like I said, I was talking about earlier, certain mechs, their job is just to tear. It's like you look at a Awesome. Everybody thinks that Awesome is a really assault mech. It's really a heavy assault support mech with those PPCs, kind of like a Shrek PPC carrier. It does this very similar type of thing, and these guys make great bodyguards also. Let's say you have a fire support lines. We were talking about the longbow earlier. So if you have like 3 longbows, one of these guys can get in, move in pretty quickly and intercept and hopefully run off some light mechs or something of that nature that tries to harass your fire support land. So that's something you can think about doing with them also. You know, they're not all that cheap, but, you know, they get the job done. All right, hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Like and subscribe, and we will talk with you later. And share it with all your friends. All right, we'll talk with you later. Elcrex out.